the show? What is the show gonna be about?
Some of the painting that will be exhibited will deal with the war issues. And then I would also like to include some of the paintings on the Iraq War, on Abu Ghraib, and on here, on New York, on 9/11, which this would be the most recent painting. The series from America, which was done in '92 to commemorate the 500th anniversary. And this has a lot of issues, a lot of aspects to do with North and South America from the 15th century till the present. The America series start with the discovery. It's relevant to everything I've done. And it is part of the Spirit of Life painting, by the way. What I did was to literally take each century and do one or two paintings, starting with the discovery of the arrival of Columbus and to San Salvador, the New World, and then it will continue with the pilgrims and the Indian issues, and then the slavery issue, the Indian problem, onto the American North-South Civil War, and to the present 20th century. It's a reflection of, it is a historical, but also it has a lot to do with the contemporary aspects of my art. And the style also, this is where I used a lot of blue, and I showed the breakup of space in which there is opening almost at the center of each painting. Very important. Like, for example, there is two important painting on the liberation of South America with the portraits of Simón Bolívar, José Martín, Antonio Sucre, the historical figures that I would incorporate into the painting. The same with the in Mexico, the history of the Cortés, the conquistador, when they entered Mexico, and there is a very important painting I did with this, which is called Encounter between Cortés and Montezuma. Showing Cortés putting his hand on the sword, whereas Montezuma receiving him with flowers, with his necklace of flowers, and then from then on, it became an issue of extermination of the Indian race. So this is the America series. Later, then we moved to the 21st century, and it started with another war. So my work is continuation. We started 74. I was doing Vietnam War, and today we're working on the Iraq War and Afghanistan War. Even though Afghanistan was also included in the 80s when the Russians were fighting, but now it's an issue of a destruction of a whole nation. It's more than 1 million people almost have perished in Iraq. I also did something on that Abu Ghraib about in 2003, I think. There's also some on older picture on the Cuban Revolution with Guevara. In contrast, if you see the series of the Spirit of Life, you're going to notice from 74 to 85 is dominated, almost the background dominated by red color, rojo, with the lurid orange and then yellow, and then the touches of blue. In 86, I reversed this. I still use the red, but this time the figures have this very dark cobalt blue with the black around it. And this it's a very difficult thing to, because blue is a cold color, and I always use the warm, this hellish color of red about war. So the contrast seemed to have come up very, very nicely. So I was able, through the figure with painted blue, now the color, the light, comes through the figure, from the eyes, from the mouth, from the breast, in colors of yellow, orange, and red. So you have the red background, the light coming through, red, yellow, and orange, and then the dark cobalt blue of the figure itself. Now this was, it worked very well in the division, in the composition, because always by composition, whether it is one or three parts, usually it's 2 or 3 parts each painting, and the focus is on the center, and the center you have either the aggressor coming toward each other, symbolizing metaphorically the forces of division. That these are the forces that divide the countries, divide the people, divide, because of race, because of religion, because of this or that, or nation, north, east, south, west. Always this is what this split about. And you will see half of the painting, 74 to 85, of that series are almost total chaos. You see, this is when we paint total chaos, which was very carefully done, filling up the entire picture with no spaces, no sky, nothing. After 86 to 96, you will see breakup in space and the contrast of the totally different color, separated by grayish white. And it's this separation in between that I would incorporate and put these faces and figures of portraits of personalities. For example, in the bird, which is about the American Revolution, I would put all these early founders like Washington, Jefferson, Adam, and so on. And in the case of branching in South America, the same thing. It was in the breakup in the white and that separates the blue that I would put, Simon Bolivar, Sucre, Jose Martin, and Hidalgo of Mexico.